Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Do you really want to learn English and improve your speaking skills? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. In this video, you will learn many useful daily English sentences. These sentences are easy, simple, and used in real life. So please practice these sentences with me. I wanted to improve my English, but I wanted an easy way to learn. I hoped that English would become easy quickly. I watched many videos but practiced very little. Then one day I understood my biggest mistake. Nothing valuable comes without effort. I often asked myself why English felt difficult. I knew many people who spoke English well. I thought they were naturally good at English. I did not see the hours they had practiced. Then I decided to learn their secret. One evening I met an older friend. We started talking about my English. I told him that I wanted quick results. He smiled and asked me one question. He asked me how much I practiced every day. I honestly said that I hardly practiced. He looked at me and said something simple. Nothing is free when you want real improvement. You must give your time and effort. Those words made me think deeply. That night I made a new plan. I would stop looking for shortcuts. I would listen to English every morning. I would repeat useful sentences every day. And I would speak even when I made mistakes. The next morning I started my practice. I listened to a simple English story. At first I understood only a few sentences. But I decided not to stop. I listened to the story for 30 minutes. Then I listened to it one more time. The second time I understood more words. The third time I understood more sentences. I realized that repetition was helping me. Slowly the story became easier. After listening, I started speaking aloud. I repeated each sentence carefully. Sometimes my pronunciation was not correct. Sometimes I forgot the next word. But I continued without giving up. I learned that practice was not always comfortable. Some days I felt tired. Some days I wanted to stop. But my goal was more important. I started waking up a little earlier. I used that time for English practice. First I listened to a short story. Then I repeated the important sentences. Finally I spoke about my own day. This simple routine slowly became a habit. One sentence became important to me. I said, I am improving every day. I repeated it whenever I felt discouraged. It reminded me to keep working. Small progress was still progress. I also learned to be patient. Good English could not appear overnight. I needed time to build the habit. So I stopped expecting quick results. One day I heard someone speaking English. They spoke clearly and confidently. I used to think they were naturally talented. Now I understood something different. They had probably practiced for many years. Confidence was built through repeated effort. That thought motivated me even more. I started practicing when nobody was watching. I listened when my friends were relaxing. I repeated sentences when the room was quiet. I worked because I wanted real improvement. I learned that nobody could practice for me. Nobody could speak for me. Nobody could learn every sentence for me. My progress was my responsibility. Then I started learning useful daily sentences. I learned how to talk about my routine. I learned how to ask simple questions. I learned how to explain my feelings. I learned how to talk about my plans. These sentences made English useful in real life. I did not try to memorize everything. I chose sentences that I could actually use. Then I repeated them many times. After that I created my own examples. This made the sentences easier to remember. Sometimes I made the same mistake again. But I did not become angry with myself. I simply corrected the sentence. Then I tried it again. I started keeping a small English notebook. Every day I wrote useful sentences inside. I wrote sentences about my real life. Then I practiced speaking them aloud. This made my learning more personal. English slowly became easier to remember. I also started listening while doing simple work. Sometimes I listened during breakfast. Sometimes I listened while walking. I used small free moments for practice. Those small moments added up every day. One evening I felt very tired. I almost skipped my English practice. Then I remembered my goal. So I practiced for just 10 minutes. That 10 minutes felt small. But it taught me an important lesson. Hard work does not always mean doing a lot. Sometimes it means doing something consistently. Even on difficult days. That is how strong habits are built. After a few weeks I noticed changes. I understood stories more easily. I remembered common sentences faster. I could answer simple questions more quickly. My confidence was slowly growing. I still could not speak perfectly, but I could communicate my ideas. That was enough to keep me motivated. I knew I was moving forward. Then my friend asked about my progress. I told him that English was becoming easier. He asked what had changed. I said, I stopped searching for shortcuts. I started working every single day. He smiled because he understood my lesson. He reminded me about something important. Nothing is free in life. If you want a skill, you must practice. If you want confidence, you must face challenges. If you want improvement, you must keep working. His words stayed with me. I realized that results have a price. The price was my time and effort. I was ready to pay it. From that day I became more disciplined. I stopped saying I have no time. Instead I asked how I could make time. I reduced unnecessary distractions. I gave more time to English practice. Slowly my daily routine became stronger. I also started speaking with other learners. At first I felt nervous. But everyone was learning too. We made mistakes and helped each other. That made speaking practice more enjoyable. I learned that speaking needs courage. You cannot improve by staying silent. You have to open your mouth and try. Mistakes are part of the process. I began recording my voice regularly. Then I listened to my own recordings. I noticed words that sounded unclear. I practiced those words again. After some time my pronunciation improved. I could clearly hear the difference. I also learned to listen carefully. I listened to how people connected words. I noticed their pauses and pronunciation. Then I tried to copy their rhythm. This made my speaking sound more natural. I understood that listening was powerful. Good listening gave me better sentences. Better sentences gave me better speaking. Practice connected everything together. Some days I learned many new things. Other days I learned almost nothing. But I continued my routine. I knew every practice session was useful, even when I could not see results. Progress was happening quietly inside me. Months later, I looked at my old notebook. I could hardly believe the difference. The sentences that once looked difficult were now easy for me to understand. My hard work had finally started. I understood the real meaning of hard work. Hard work is not about one big effort. It is about small efforts repeated regularly. That is what creates real improvement. If you are learning English right now, do not search for an easy shortcut. Listen to simple English every day. Repeat sentences until they become familiar. Speak even when you make mistakes. Keep working until your confidence grows. You do not need 5 hours every day. You need regular practice. 30 minutes of focused practice can help. Even 10 minutes is better than nothing. The important thing is to continue. Nothing valuable comes without effort. English is a skill, not a magic trick. Listen, repeat, speak and practice. Your hard work will make a difference. I started with fear and very little confidence. I improved by listening to simple English stories. I repeated sentences and practiced every day. I worked hard even when progress felt slow. I learned that nothing is free. But consistent effort can change everything. Now I enjoy learning English every day. I do not expect instant results anymore. I focus on improving one small thing. I know every practice session has value. And I know I can keep getting better. If you make mistakes, keep speaking. If you feel tired, practice a little. If progress feels slow, stay patient. Never let one bad day stop you. Your English journey may feel difficult. You may not understand every story. You may forget many new words. You may make mistakes while speaking. But every attempt is helping your brain learn. Keep going and trust your practice. Listen to English slowly at first. Repeat what you hear. Speak the sentences in your own voice. Use them in your daily life. Then slowly increase your speaking speed. Do not compare your beginning with someone else's middle. Everyone has a different learning journey. Focus on your own progress. Become better than you were yesterday. The biggest change happened inside my mind. I stopped asking when I would become fluent. Instead, I asked what I could practice today. That question kept me moving forward. Every day gave me another chance. Every practice session brought me closer. I finally understood why hard work matters. Skills become stronger through regular practice. Confidence grows when we face our fears. English becomes easier when we use it. Nothing changes until we start working. So start with one simple story. Listen carefully and repeat the sentences. Speak without being afraid of mistakes. Then do it again tomorrow. You do not need to be perfect today. You only need to be willing to learn. Listen when you can. Speak whenever you get the chance. Practice even when progress feels small. Your effort today will build your confidence tomorrow. Nothing is free, but learning is worth the effort. Keep listening and keep speaking every day. Work hard and stay patient with yourself. Your English can become better with practice. One day you will hear the difference yourself.